Are you planning to do a major surgery but not quite sure on how to prepare? Well, joining us for 10 Minutes to Your Health this morning is Kingston Public Health Hospital's Head of Surgery Unit, Dr. Lindberg Simpson. Dr. Simpson. Morning, sir.
Morning, Neville.
Welcome to Smile. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And thanks to you and TVJ for having me this morning.
Yeah, man. Let me start with saying condolences. I know you lost a brethren in more ways than one.
Yes, definitely. He was an excellent physician, Dr. Williams, and we are still in mourning, the medical community.
Oh, sorry about that. I read if you're doing surgery that you need to know how to prepare. Is this all kinds of surgery? Is it a one-size-fits-all depending on you don't eat for 2 hours no matter what, or it depends on what you're doing?
It really varies. I mean, there are different types of surgery. There is elective and emergency surgery. If you are doing emergency surgery, you really don't have much time to prepare. You really need to just follow the instructions of the medical team. But that advice also holds true for people who are doing elective surgeries.
Which means what? Elective surgery?
So elective surgery is something you plan. So an emergency surgery is something like...
So you mean a car accident and they rush you to the hospital and you have to do something.
You don't have anything to plan.
Right.
Or you're at home and your belly just starts hurting
Right.
you and it's your appendix. You just have to come in and get it done.
Right.
But an elective surgery is something like you have a hernia and that it hurts sometimes, but it doesn't need surgery right away. Or maybe for ladies, they may have fibroids, and it's something which has been troubling for them for a while. And in discussion with their medical team, their gynecologist said, yes, we are going to do something about it. So in elective surgery, you have some time to prepare. The challenge is surgery is a somewhat unique specialty in that we kind of have to hurt the patient, harm the patient to get you better. So we, at all times, usually have to make an incision, and then dissecting, rearranging the organs, or sometimes taking out an organ can be a metabolic insult on the body. As a coach, it's like you having a finals. So it's a significant insult. And if you can prepare, if you can get your body in better shape, you'll be better able to recover after it.
I've never heard it put that way, that you have to hurt the body, you have to harm the body to get you better.
Right.
Which is interesting. We have some headlines. I'll go through it and then you can explain. The first one says, make sure you understand your planned procedure.
Definitely. If you have the opportunity to choose, then you want to choose a medical team which you are able to communicate with, because understanding of what you are going to do and what the procedure is going to be, how long it's going to be, how long you're going to be in hospital, what the recovery is going to be like, that certainly helps patients to do better.
Yep. Ask about your medicines.
100%. Because oftentimes it's really important that you're upfront with your medical team. Tell them everything you're taking, even if you don't think it's important. Some vitamins and supplements, etc., can cause prolonged bleeding at surgery, and sometimes patients may forget or they may ignore, the doctor may not know, so to tell you, look, stop taking this for X time. So definitely I'd want to say, be upfront with your medical team, tell them everything you're taking in terms of whatever you put in your body, and yeah, you also want to know to speak to them honestly about whether you drink or smoke.
Yeah, it's interesting because this one says eat healthy foods. I say it's interesting because if you're not accustomed to eating healthy foods,
right,
and then you have a surgery 2 days later,
yes,
eating healthy foods probably not going to make a difference, will it?
Yes, 2 days probably won't work. I mean, right. Generally what I would say is, again, if you're going to do an elective surgery, if you have time to plan, then it's good to get you in your best shape possible. Generally we tend to know what is better for us, foods with less, fat, less carbohydrates, more protein. And sometimes it's difficult to do that all the while. But I would say if you know you're having a surgery coming up, then try to be able to get access to foods which, less, lower fat content, more protein.
We have about 6 or 7, but this one is a fun question more than anything else. It has to do with surgery because I've had two hernia operations, tonsillitis. Why they make you count from 100 down? Why you don't count from one go? What is the difference?
Well,
let's say count from 100 down and you reach 98, you're gone. Why you don't count 1, 2, 3?
Right. You could do that. It's just what the anesthetist does when they're putting you off to sleep. They want to make sure that you are not going to be able to feel anything.
Right.
So they give you a somewhat complex task.
No, I understand why you count, but why you don't just say count?
You could do that as well. You could. There's no rule.
As I said, that was a fun question. This one now says boost your activity. I don't understand that. What does that mean?
So as you said, it's like the surgery is a metabolic insult to your body. It's like playing a match or running a 5K or something. So if you are in better shape, so if you have 6 weeks, 2 months to prepare, if your doctor says, look, we're going to do that hernia surgery or that fibroid operation in September, you have some time where you can do, it doesn't have to be a major thing. It can be something simple like exercising, doing a walk for 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. You will find that your recovery from that operation will be significantly better than if you had not done those things.
Strengthen your lungs.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I mentioned briefly about smoking. So it depends on what type of surgery you're doing. But surgery, if you are going to have general anesthesia, then your ability to recover from the anesthesia is definitely related to how much stress you put on your lungs. Smoking is one in that not only does it affect your lungs and your recovery from anesthesia, but it's been shown to also affect your wound healing. So your risk of getting a complication aside from the chest, just in the wound, you're more likely to get a wound infection if you are still smoking at the time of surgery.
I think we can skip past the next one because it says if you smoke or use nicotine products, stop.
You definitely want to stop.
Right.
At least, if you can get 6 weeks without, but even if in reality, we want you to stop, even if you can't stop, if cutting down will be significant.
Yeah. It says care for your mental well-being, which you should be doing every single day, but specifically to an operation, what does that mean?
Yes, so definitely, I said, you want you to be in an overall state of wellness. So sometimes we do patients who are more anxious, sometimes we will give them some pre-medication or give them anxiolytic, something for anxiety afterwards. Because, we want patients who are not all strung out on the day of operation tend to do better. Their recovery from anesthesia is a lot less stressful for them.
Take advantage of your resources. What does that mean?
Oh, well, definitely. It's very important to have family around you, not only at the time of surgery, but even the discussion process. There are some procedures, particularly if you're talking to a patient about cancer or anything else which is a surprise. It's not uncommon for patients to have this discussion and come out of the doctor's room and be so overwhelmed by the information that you can't process it.
Yeah.
So if you have resources, if you have family support, then bring them with you to the appointments and also afterwards.
And then this one kind of says the same thing. Find someone to drive you to and from the hospital.
Oh, definitely.
It was interesting. I told you I had 2 hernia operations, and one of them I did the operation at 9 o'clock, and I walked out of the hospital at 1 o'clock.
Right.
And here I was thinking that hernia operation, no man, at 2, 3 a.m. every day inside. I actually walked out. I mean, someone came for me. I didn't drive.
Right.
And I walked out of the hospital, and I go, oh, this is...
Right. So I would say 50 years ago, you wouldn't have been doing that. But with the advances in surgery, there are day case operations, which you go home shortly after.
Yep. Get ready the night before surgery.
I think that's really important. You really want to get a good night's sleep, get a good night's rest, process what's going to happen to you.
Sorry to jump in, Doc, but you just said that. I mean, me and fret about the operation tomorrow. Can I get that nice to me? I probably will stay up the whole night and fret.
Right. So that's important to have a discussion with your medical team, because if you're that type of person, then it might be reasonable to give you some medication to help you to sleep. There are some people who have had patients who working right up to say, it's no big deal for them to have operations. So they're about their business. But there are some people who are really worried. It will also depend on what operation you're doing. For something simple like a hernia, it's easy not to be concerned.
Yeah.
If we're going to do a major resection or we're going into your brain or something, then that might need more preparation.
Yep. And the final one is quite easy. Show up a couple hours before your scheduled surgery.
Definitely.
Yep.
I would say, again, be mindful of your medical team. Talk to them. Get somebody you can trust. And be aware of what's going to happen.
Yep. We have about a minute. Why did you become a doctor?
Good question. I'd have to say my parents were a strong influence. My mom always wanted me to be one, and I don't regret her influence at all.
Did you have a plan B? Like if I,
But
because I remember as a little boy, I wanted to become a fireman, a policeman, all kind of stuff. The last thing on my mind was a television presenter.
well,
But
plan A was to be a footballer, but then I messed up the test and I got so much licks from my mom that I had to do yes.
Great to see you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you
to
so
see you
much
again,
for
Neville.
coming. Yeah, man. Blessings and love. Look after yourself and your family. Kingston Public Health Hospital's head of the surgery unit, Dr. Lindberg Simpson. 10 minutes to your health. We'll do it again next Thursday.